What's up, Hardies and Hardos? Finally back at it again after last week off, and we're joined here by, I'm referring to him as CFB Mike, our college football specialist, Mike Brown.
CFB Mike. I
CFB Mike.
fucking like it, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's his new nickname.
What a name. Honored.
All right, we're going to start with some breaking headlines. There was a lot of random things that happened this past week. But I guess we might as well.
I'm going to steal the first headline from you, Buzz.
Yeah, do it.
Because the first headline is a nice personal one for me. I got to shout out the new squad, Bemidji State, D2 NSIC conference, about to roll up on y'all. So I got a job up here, so pretty lit for me, coaching some volleyball. So yeah, if you want to check us out, do it up, find the stream. You'll see me on the sidelines. So yeah, shout out to the team.
I'm gonna at all the NSIC coaches when we tweet about this episode and say,
add them up.
See what they have to say about that.
Exactly. They'll probably be laughing.
Well, that's awesome though. That's awesome though. Congrats, my guy. But back into the breaking headlines now. We might as well start with something we talked about right before we pulled on this episode, and that would be Kaprizov is returning to America. And it seems like another Russian news. We're making the trade for Brittany Griner and finally getting her back too. So what do you boys think about that? All that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, glad to have Kaprizov back. I don't know if we can say the U.S. is winning that trade with Russia for Griner, but good to have all the Americans back on American soil, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Griner. I mean, we're giving him an arms dealer, and it's like in my head, arms dealer gets taken, another one takes his place, so it's like, is what it is. But I can see the argument that giving them an arms dealer back is losing the deal. That's a fair way to think about it. But as far as Krill goes, yeah. I mean, not only for his own safety, but for the fact that the Wild season would be completely pointless without him. So glad to have him back. Russia really sucks, and these two stories really highlight that.
Absolutely. On to the NFL, number of different signings. First being Kyler Murray. This happened a while ago. 5 years, $230 million contract. That seems to be the going price nowadays for QBs. That was a very similar contract to DeSean Watson, except main difference would be the guaranteed money there. But yeah, that seems to be the going price, about 40 some million for a good QB. I mean, you want a good, that's how you win. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Big thing is too, for me, is it's like, yeah, that might look like a bad deal right now, but with all the quarterbacks about to sign, it's like in 2 years, he's going to be the 8th to 10th highest paid quarterback. And then that's a good deal. So I guess I'd rather, as much as people say you don't have to do this, I really do think it's better in the NFL to pay your guys early. Because if you pay them early, the cap always goes up. Your deals always look better in the end, even if you overpay a tad bit. And especially like you said, the Cardinals were absolutely dog water before Kyler Murray came and won 3 games, and he's improved their record every single season. So I feel like you got to sign him up.
Yeah, I agree. I wish I would have looked up how many quarterbacks they had since Kurt Warner until they got Kyler Murray. I didn't look that up, but I'm sure it's quite a few.
A lot. Or how many quarterbacks they've had throw over 3,000 yards since Kurt Warner. That'd be a better stat to know. They got Palmer. Palmer had one or two good years in there for him.
That's true. But yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that one, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, every year someone sets the market, right, for highest paid quarterback ever, and it just keeps on stringing down the line. And yeah, definitely Kyler Murray, great candidate. A lot of people threw him a lot, or he's eaten a lot of crow from a lot of people when he chose football over baseball. And now he's making that bankroll. I think they said that this contract's total worth is worth more than the A's total payroll on their active roster. Wow. I heard that somewhere. It's like,
I believe it though.
Yeah. Who says you can't get your bag playing football, right?
Right. Exactly. Completely agree there. Another extension was Deebo Samuel, 3 years, $71.5 million with 58 guaranteed. A couple months ago, this didn't look like this was going to get done. I thought they were going to have to trade him. I didn't think they were going to get this deal done, but they ended up giving him what he wanted. So it worked out for both sides, and it'll be interesting to see what Deebo does with Trey Lance now taking over at QB.
Yeah, he also had a clause there too to make up to $2 million, essentially $2 million more per year, depending on rushing yards and rushing carries and rushing touchdowns. So
even though he doesn't want to do that,
no, he doesn't want to do that. But if the Niners end up making him do that, they have to pay him more money. So I thought that was expected a nice part of the deal. I didn't think Deebo was going to sign either. This kind of blew my mind. Yeah. I did not think they were going to get this done. But obviously, when you have a young quarterback like Trey Lance coming in that you're a little sus about, at least in some aspects, you got to keep a guy like Deebo that he can just feed the ball to, because otherwise it's going to be rough.
Agree. Mike, any final thoughts? Or we all on the same page with this Deebo trade or signing?
Yeah, I think the only thing you can really say is there's no one happier about this than Trey Lance going into his first full year as a starter. So that's all I'd reiterate there is that Trey Lance, if he wants to have a big year, he's going to need some superstars around him, and Deebo definitely helps having him locked in.
Absolutely. Last one, not as big, a little minor one here. Julio signs with the Bucs, 1-year deal. This could be good for them if he ends up staying healthy. Right now, I mean, with everyone healthy, he's WR3. So Julio Jones is your WR3. That's looking pretty good for you. But again, this is all going to come down to him staying healthy. And just yet another weapon for Tom Brady. I guess I have to be a low-key Bucs fan this year. Gross. Julio's my favorite player. Oh, this is
welcome to the bandwagon, Bus. Welcome along. Welcome along in the old bandwagon ski. Yeah, I mean, but the Bucs receiving core, once Godwin gets back, of Evans, Godwin, Jones, and Gage, looks pretty decent. So that's always good. For the old
Russell Gage, WR4.
Maybe we'll he'll get his 8th ring, and he can finally get out of Bus's life.
If he gives my boy Julio a ring after he already stole the one from Julio, I might change my opinion about Tom Brady.
Ooh, so Tom Brady's got Bus's opinion on the line.
Yep. I'm going to tweet it at him, too, just so he knows. He probably won't see a tweet, but just so he knows.
No, of course not. And if he did, he'd just absolutely roast your ass.
Took 8 rings to change an opinion? That's crazy, Bus.
Yeah, I know. Bus is looking...
That's crazy.
Bus is looking pretty sus right now. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Lots of Vikings fans are happy about that Julio signing. There was definitely wind about him going to Green Bay possibly. And I think the only thing scarier than Brady and Julio is Julio and Rodgers.
Against us twice a year.
Against the Vikings secondary. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into a little more serious news now. Still NFL related though. DeSean Watson, he got his suspension 6 games. That's what I honestly figured it'd probably end up being 6 or 8 games, just because I know that the NFL is a joke and they don't know how to I don't even know how to phrase that, but hand out equal natured punishments. And it's ridiculous to me. I mean, we all know, I'm just throwing one out, for example. We all know this hit was absolutely vicious by Vontaze Burfict. We all know the hit. But he got suspended 12 games for that. 12 games, double the amount. And DeSean Watson had over 20 allegations of sexual assault against him, almost all of which had to be settled in civil court. So I don't know. You guys need to chime in here. This is an interesting suspension to me.
Yeah, and I think the side note there that a lot of people are calling is that, he didn't play at all last year. And well, a lot of people forget is that was on his terms. Even if he wasn't suspended, he wasn't going to get put on the exempt list because he himself would not suit up and play for the Texans last year because that was his complete trade. So anybody saying he's already been out of the year for a game, that was on his terms. So really, I think 6 is light. I understand the perspective from the third party judge that was like, yep, that's on par with what has been happening, but now there's an opportunity for Goodell to swoop in and look like the superhero and add on to that, because the Players Association said they wouldn't appeal, but the NFL did not make that agreement. So they ultimately have the power to adjust that suspension as they see needed. I think they have like 48 or 72 hours or something to do that. But Goodell can come in and make it right, help his image.
Do we think he's gonna do that though?
It's good PR for him. I'll tell you that. If he can to make things right. So that's where I could see a lot of people, everything he does, he's damned by everything he does. So
right.
To be positively viewed by a decision he made for once would be a nice change of pace for him in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, I just like you said, Mike, it's definitely understandable, the 6-game ruling in the context of the history, but I'm about to rip the NFL for the history. Ezekiel Elliott, domestic abuse, 6 games. Jameis Winston, sexual assault, 3 games. Kareem Hunt, we all saw that, 8 games. But then Josh Gordon gets caught smoking weed and gets suspended for a year. And Calvin Ridley gets suspended for a year for betting on games when he was hurt that he was not involved in and had nothing to do with. I don't know. In my head, that is the absolute most asinine thing of all time. We're suspending guys for things that are bad that you should get suspended for. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I think the punishment should be reversed. When you're actually harming another human being, then we're lightening the suspensions. Those would be the year and 2 year and indefinite suspensions. But stuff like smoking weed and betting on games is indefinite in a year. The betting on games thing, I do understand. I get it from that perspective. And he knew what the punishment was in the Calvin Ridley situation. I just think the overall system is messed up in how we're viewing punishment-wise with the personal conduct policy.
Yeah, I can't say any more than that. That's completely factual, and I'm completely in agreement there. Is that it? We're done roasting the NFL. Everyone go ahead and rewind the last 30 seconds. Listen to Spinny Talk Games. He put it the best way possible. So just NFL needs to figure it out. I don't know how else to put it.
And we as a society need to figure it out too.
Absolutely,
everyone needs to figure it out.
Yeah.
Stop assaulting people.
Yeah. All right. The last one here. Somber news. Bill Russell passed away at the age of 88. Honestly, one of the most, if not the most, decorated and impactful athlete in sports history, not just basketball. What he did on and off the court, I don't think can ever really be replicated. Some quick facts for you. 13 years he played. He won 11 rings, 5 MVPs, and 12 All-Stars in 13 years. So, again, you can say what you want about the competition he's playing against, but he absolutely dominated his era. He did what he was supposed to do. And, yeah, the stuff he did off the court is absolutely amazing what he did for battling social injustices and racism and all that stuff. He even was awarded a Presidential Medal of Freedom, for those that didn't know either. So just an amazing dude. And, yeah, that's all I got to say about Bill Russell. R.I.P. Bill Russell. Monster. Stud.
Bill Russell was one of the big life-changing sports figures, the Muhammad Ali types, the types that made more influence outside of the game than in the game. And in Bill Russell's case, that's saying a lot. I mean, this man played as a African-American in Boston in the 60s. So I think we can all imagine about the horrible, awful things that he was said to him and done to him and all that type of stuff. And it's just like, he was really the first guy to be like a lot of the modern NBA guys in social justice and how that influences. So I think just the precedent he set for the NBA in that regard is huge. And obviously the best winner in NBA history for sure. And he won 2 of those championships as a player coach, which is something that's pretty sweet. That is definitely obviously not common in NBA history.
Yeah, for sure. I'd just say just his timing and his impact throughout, history between the civil rights and the game of basketball is just absolutely, I don't think it could be replicated. So I just think it's absolutely phenomenal what he was able to accomplish. And I think, you talk about playing 13 years in the NBA, he had a lifetime's worth after that, after he was over, where he was, an ambassador of the game and, African American culture in general for 50 years after he was done playing. So absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yep. RIP.
Right. Major
RIP. Two last quick fun facts I want to throw out about him. First African American coach in North American sports history to win a championship. And also his 11 championships is the most out of all sports in North America as well. So again, what he did is not going to be replicated. This man was amazing on and off the court. So RIP. Now turning it over to some better news here. College football preview part 2. We're going to talk ACC, SEC, and predict our major award winners. So let's just start with the ACC because it's clearly way worse than SEC at least. And I don't know. This is a conference last year. We had Pitt winning it all over Wake Forest. They were 2-4 in bowl games. One interesting note, I saw three bowl games got canceled. So I didn't see really any other conference that had to deal with canceled bowl games like the ACC did. 6-16 the ACC was against Power 5 teams, and only 5 of the 14 teams went above 500 last year. So those are just some fun facts about last season. What do you guys think about the ACC heading into this year? CFB, Mike, start us off.
All right. Yeah, I think that this conference is a lot better than people give it credit for. I think this might have the best top to bottom quarterback play of any conference, with the talent there between, Brennan Armstrong, Sam Hartman, Tyler Van Dyke down in Miami. Those three, just to name a few, and the big one, Devin Leary at NC State. All those guys. I think that they're just going to be able to beat up on each other. And everyone loves to talk about Clemson, but I think it's going to be about the other teams this year. And Clemson still trying to climb their way back. And there's a lot of experienced teams from 2021 coming back for 2022. So I think that they're going to be able to beat up on each other. It's going to be really hard for a team to find its way out and get to the college football playoff. So.
I agree. I think it's good top to bottom. I think essentially, though, it's really a two-team race to win it. I think Clemson and NC State are kind of clearly the best two teams, if I got to be honest. And I think that one of those two is pretty clearly gonna be the best team in the ACC. So it is.
So if you got to pick one, then who are you gonna go with?
Clemson. Too much history. I think DJ's going to have a comeback year. I honestly do. I think last year was maybe him being too young and not understanding and just rough. But he had some good moments, good passes, some kind of standouty things at points. So I think he could step up and do enough to with the rest of the talent that Clemson has to make it happen.
Well, I'll just jump right off of that. I got Clemson as well. And I'm looking at it as they got a good amount of returners coming back. And last year was one of their worst offensive seasons in their program history. And they still won 10 games. They still were an overtime loss away from going to the ACC championship. So I think I also expect to step forward like Spinny just said. But I'm going to run with Clemson this year.
Yeah.
Who do you got? Because I know you don't have Clemson.
I'm rocking with NC State. I'm all aboard the NC the Wolfpack. The one thing I'll say about Clemson, DJ obviously has a lot to prove, but the bigger thing I think that not a lot of people are talking about is Brent Venables leaving for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's true.
He's been so important to the build of that program, and I think Dabo is only as good as the assistants that kind of prop him up. And now that the best one he's ever had is gone, how does that team respond? And I just think with all the returning talent from NC State and, Devin Leary, and I think they had three first team all ACC defense players back returning for this season. So that defense is going to be nasty.
That'll be huge.
And you have a pass happy offense. I just think it's a recipe for just pure explosiveness and a lot of points. Maybe even a lot of blowouts. Maybe a lot of 3 touchdown wins. Who knows in the ACC. But I think NC State's the most exciting, and that's why I'm picking them to win the ACC this year.
Yeah, I agree with what Spinny said a while ago, that I feel like those are the best 2. And I would be shocked if it wasn't one of those 2 to win it all. So I agree with what you said, Mike, that the ACC is pretty solid, actually, and it should be a lot better as a whole coming into this year. But, yeah, I still expect those 2 teams to be atop of the standings come the end of the season. One offensive player I want to shout out was Zay Flowers, wide receiver for Boston College. He statistically took a step back last year compared to his freshman year, but that's because the starting QB was hurt for most of the season. Who he now has back again. Just a very, very fast short receiver. I think right now he's projected 3rd round, and if he does really well, they're talking about, saw a lot of articles saying that he could climb up into that early 2nd range if he's able to replicate what he did his freshman year, which I think he could if his quarterback's able to stay healthy. What about you guys? You guys got any offensive players you want to shout out? Players to watch?
Honestly, I went with Devin Leary. I think this is obviously an obvious one, but man, the guy went 35-5 last year, and I think the team's better. And obviously, we talked about all the improvements NC State has made. So I think there's some low key Heisman odds maybe from Devin Leary if NC State is at the top end of what a lot of people think they could be, and if he plays to where a lot of people think he could play. So this could be 45-ish touchdowns maybe this year from Devin Leary, which would be crazy. So that's who I wanted to shout out, even though it's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. Good pick. Yeah, I think that going off that, I mentioned the quarterbacks before. I'm going to shout out Tyler Van Dyke from University of Miami, and I think that last year he had 25 TDs, 6 interceptions. He didn't play the full season. He didn't start the season, but he worked his way into that starting role when his number was called. I'm really intrigued how that offense works now with Mario Cristobal coming down from Oregon. And I think they're one of those teams that I don't think they can win it this year, but I think that they can get tough against Clemson. They can get tough against NC State, and that quarterback play is definitely one of those reasons. So I think Miami's a team to watch out for, and Tyler Van Dyke's one of the guys that can help them big time this year.
Yep, I like those thoughts. I agree about Miami. Looking at Heisman odds, I looked it up. Tyler Van Dyke's sitting at plus 3,500, and Leary's sitting at plus 5,000. So you want to throw a little sleeper bets down. Those are some good odds there.
Tyler Van Dyke, better odds than Leary. That is a little surprising.
As of right now, that's what it is.
I guess Miami's got the clout program-wise, but man.
Well, now that I'm looking at, these are the DraftKings odds, so might be different elsewhere. But now defensive, Michael Jones, Syracuse. I mean, Syracuse sucks. We know Syracuse sucks. DB though, this guy's really good tackler and very athletic, extremely athletic. And the main, it's kind of suspect. Oh, I said DB. He's a linebacker. There you go. I don't even know my own guy. That makes more sense. Amazing tackler, super athletic, but he needs to improve in pass coverage to truly take a step forward this year. And if he does so, he could jump up into the 3rd, maybe late 2nd. Right now, he's sitting at 4th round. So just based off his athleticism and tackling ability, he's projected to be an NFL player at some point. So that's a guy to watch if he's able to improve his pass coverage. How about you guys?
I went with Miami guy Leonard Taylor. He's a defensive tackle for Miami. Miami gave up 28.5 points a game last year, so obviously was not good. He was one of the only bright spots of that defense, and he comes back. They're obviously going to have some huge struggle at linebacker, so I think the defensive front is going to have to make some big plays in order for Miami to be as good as they want to be. And I think that could definitely happen. And Leonard Taylor is definitely the lead guy there. So I had to go with one of the big men in the trenches and talk about a tackle a little bit here.
I love it.
Oh, well, you guys left me with I had a few NC State players I wanted to talk about, but I'll just pick one. I'm going to go with Drake Thomas, linebacker. He was returning first team All-ACC. He actually led the team in interceptions last year as a linebacker with 3, which is surprising. But yeah, I think that he's going to be the heart and soul, the middle of that defense that has so much talent around them. I think he's going to be able to play a little more downhill since they have so much experience in the secondary and a lot of talent there that you can really trust the guys behind him. And I think he's going to be a big-time playmaker this year for the Wolfpack.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, dude, their defense is loaded. It's going to be exciting. I do agree with you that I think NC State's probably the most exciting team going into this year. So it'll be interesting to see what that defense is able to do. Well, I think that's enough of the ACC. Let's jump to the SEC, the best conference in football, as we know. Last year, 12 first-round picks, 65 total. Just ridiculous amount of athletes come out of this conference and get drafted. Bama won the SEC championship and then obviously lost the rematch to Georgia in the national title game. They were 5-7 in bowl games, 9-6 versus Power 5 last year. What do you guys think about this conference? Is obviously going to be loaded again. We got A&M looking pretty good coming into this year as well. What are your initial thoughts heading into this season?
L's for Alabama.
I knew you were going to say that. Come on. No L's for Alabama.
Mike, what do you think?
Bryce Young, we trust.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talent in the SEC. I think that surprisingly so, everyone talks about Georgia, the defending national champions. I think the SEC East is stronger than it has been in years past. And there's a lot of talent over there, a lot of offenses that can put up points. And then you got a Georgia defense that is reloading. And obviously they have 4- and 5-star talent, but can they muster up the points to keep up with some of these teams if that defense isn't going to be quite as elite as it was? You're talking about one of the all-time defenses they had in 2021. They got to replace a lot of starters there. So I think there might be a bit of a championship hangover for Georgia. If I had to pick a champion, I'm going to go back-to-back with Alabama coming out of the West. I just think that, coming out of the East, there's a chance that Tennessee could make some noise if it's not Georgia. But ultimately, I don't think anyone out there, because just Alabama's the most, well-rounded team in the SEC. I know it's a very vanilla take, but I got the Crimson Tide winning again this year.
We all know my pick. I'm obviously running the Crimson Tide. And based on that look Spinny gave you, I need to hear who his pick is. Please don't say Georgia after all that turnover they're going to have. You're going to say Georgia, aren't you? You're going to say
the thing. I cannot pick Alabama. I can't. I not only for the legitimacy of this pod, but for my own personal hatred of myself. I couldn't sleep at night if I picked Alabama on this pod. And I do agree that Georgia's a little suspect given all the turnover, given how great they were last year. So I'm going to pick Texas A&M to win the SEC. I think I like Jimbo Fisher's fire in talking about Saban. I think he was right. I think Saban's an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Saban's an idiot. That part was a joke. But I do think he was right about the NIL, and I think Saban only doesn't like it because it's harder for him to recruit. So I think A&M has a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent, obviously, with the NIL deals they've got. Ton of 5-star recruits coming in. And I think maybe they just show it up a year earlier than we think they're going to do. And they pull off the upset. SEC champs, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I don't really like that prediction by you, but I'll accept it. I'll accept it. And since you talked about A&M, I'm going to throw out my offensive player to watch this year, which would be, oh my God, help me if I butcher his last name. Devin Achin? What is it, Mike? I know you know.
No, I don't. That's the thing is I don't know. I say okay. Devin. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, we're running with Devin Achin, then. That sounds good to me. Running back Texas A&M. Last year as the backup to Isaiah Spiller, who's now with the Chargers, 900 yards, 7 yards per carry. So just terrific burst. I think he's only like 5'8", 5'9", very short, super quick first step, very explosive out of the box. This is definitely a name to watch. If he's put up 900 yards as the backup, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do as the lead back. And if he goes off, that would help with Spinny's prediction there with A&M being the champ. So we'll see how Devin Achin does this year. Mike, who do you got to watch on the offensive end?
All right, I'm gonna go. There's a couple different ways I can go here. I like Tennessee as just an exciting team to watch in general. Obviously, you got Hendon Hooker at the quarterback position. He had 31 TDs, 3 interceptions last year. But I'm going to go with Cedric Tillman. I'm going to go with Cedric Tillman last year for this year. He had over 1,000 yards, 12 TDs last season. And, he's a big body receiver, big-time playmaker, deep threat. And I think he kind of helps that Tennessee offense go. So that's my player to watch. And potential Bolitnikoff Award winner.
Ooh, okay. That's a bold prediction. I like it. Mm-hmm. Well, Spinny's having some issues here, so Mike and I will just jump to defensive player to watch. I'm going to run with AJ Finley, safety out of Ole Miss. Last year was third on the teams in tackle, that's not usually what you see coming from the safety position. But yeah, great tackler. He's very consistent and well-rounded, but he does lack some explosiveness, which that's ultimately going to hold him back in the draft and in the NFL. But his tackling ability, his ability to just be a ball hawk back there, he'll find his way on a team. I'm thinking he'll probably be a 4th or 5th round pick. But yeah, he's a guy to watch going forward if he was that good on Ole Miss last year. But again, this is Ole Miss's shitty defense, so that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I agree with that. Just, he got a lot of opportunities for tackles in the secondary last year with being on that Ole Miss defense. But yeah, I think that Ole Miss team's going to make a jump this year, defensively at least.
I would agree. Who do you got to shout out on defensive end?
Ooh, I got a guy coming from the all-name team, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, we're talking about a guy that was all freshman SEC last year. He doesn't really have a whole lot of stats to go by. Only 1 pick and 1 pass breakup recorded in 2021. But he found his way to play last year in that crowded Alabama secondary. And I think that's pretty significant. Former number 1 cornerback in his class of 2021.
Was he
already
really?
getting significant playing time. And, I think he's going to be an all SEC first teamer this year. Could probably get some national accolades in there, but he's just the next in line of many great Alabama DBs.
You put it the best way possible. Many great. Let's go. We love when Mike gives Alabama boys some credit here.
Y'all got me back now. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with my computer. So, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can.
All right, sweet. I hate Alabama, so rich history, blah, 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 blah. But I want to talk about my offensive player, at least, before we move on, and that is Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback. He had 2,800 yards and 24 touchdowns last year, only getting better. I think that Kentucky team could actually make I don't want to jump too ahead, but I think they could be frisky. I think we could see an 8-4, 9-3 type season from them, which would obviously be something cool for a team that's never good. But Levis actually has some talent, and it'll be interesting to see. I think he's going to ball out this year. So, player to watch from a non-common SEC school.
Is that your only player to watch?
That's my only player to watch.
Yeah, because all the players are in Alabama, right, Spinny?
Nah.
I'm just kidding.
Sure you are.
Let's jump to our awards, huh? We might as well predict these major awards. Let's just start with the Heisman right off the bat. I got CJ Stroud this year. I think he's just going to go off. He put up Heisman numbers last year. I think he's going to go off again. And for those that don't know, there's only been one person to win the Heisman twice. So that doesn't very bode well for Bryce Young to repeat. Otherwise, I would just run with my boy Bryce Young.
I agree. No repeats for Bryce Young, especially considering Alabama's going to be so bad this year. Wink. No, I think I do want to go with I don't want to call him a sleeper because he does have the second best odds currently to win the Heisman, but I was surprised by that. So I'm going to pick Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. I think USC probably has 3 or 4 losses because their defensive talent is not good, really, really bad overall. So they'll definitely lose a lot of shootout games. But Lincoln Riley's the quarterback whisperer. I think their offense is going to be really fun, and I think we saw what Caleb Williams could do at Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, and I think it can only maybe be even better at USC. So I think, USC has a little resurgence, and Caleb Williams wins the Heisman.
It's a good pick. I was really, really trying not to pick Bryce. Obviously, he has the odds stacked against him. Unlike the rest of my picks, I'm not going to go with an Alabama guy here, though. Just like you guys, I think it's pick your Ohio State guy this year. And I know we talked about Jackson Smith and Jigbo. We talked about C.J. Stroud. I'm going to go TreVeyon Henderson, the other Buckeye. Maybe doesn't get as much recognition. I think that everyone's going to sell out to try to stop the pass this year from the Buckeyes. And I think TreVeyon Henderson is going to eat with those guys playing more off the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a lot of open holes for him to run through. So TreVeyon Henderson is my pick to win the Heisman.
That's bold. That is very bold.
There's so many weapons with Ohio State.
So many.
But I don't know. I'm still wary on CJ Stroud. I think that he's going to ball out. He's going to do numbers. But, when they weren't playing well last year, maybe it was because he was a redshirt freshman. Maybe he grows. Maybe he progresses. But I think that, he gets rattled pretty easily. And I think that's something to watch going into this year. Maybe even week 1 against Notre Dame. Top 10 matchup.
Yeah, so Notre Dame, Mike?
We'll plug Notre Dame later in this episode.
Okay.
TreVeyon, looking at these same odds I was looking at before, sitting at plus 3,500. We got Jackson Smith at plus 2,500 and CJ Stroud at plus 250. Bryce Young's plus 350, Caleb Williams plus 700. So interesting to watch going forward. Davey O'Brien, obviously, since I picked CJ Stroud to win the Heisman, Davey O'Brien, CJ Stroud, if he were to win Heisman, would obviously win the Davey O'Brien Award, which is the best quarterback in the nation for those that don't know. So that's pretty obvious prediction by me there.
Yeah, I obviously am going to go the same way. Obviously, if Caleb Williams wins the Heisman, he's going to win the DOB. So pretty self-explanatory ones there for me and Bus.
There you go. Since I picked a running back to win my Heisman, I'm actually going to go with Bryce Young to win Davey O'Brien since I got a running back winning the Heisman. But just to say, it doesn't always shake out that way. Sometimes the best quarterback is on an 8-4, 9-3 team. So the best quarterback, this is typically a stats award. It's not quite like the Heisman. So something to watch there and pay attention to.
Yeah, that's a good point. These are all basically stat awards. No doubt about it. Let's jump to the Doak Walker running back award. I'm going to go episode 23. I said he has potential to win it. I'm just going to run with him, and that's Bijan Robinson, Texas running back. I expect a big year out of him, and a definitely step forward year from Texas for sure. They can't repeat record-wise what they did last year. They're going to get a ton of heat.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I talked about in episode 23, I talked about my guy at running back in the Big Ten. I vouched for Braylon Allen, and I think even though I called TreVeyon Henderson the Heisman winner, I think that Braylon Allen probably beats his numbers just based on how one-dimensional that offense is for Wisconsin. But Wisconsin's going to be an 8-4, 9-3 team, and I think every game that they win, Allen is going to eat. and I think every game they lose, Allen, he might still eat. But
Right.
the defense just doesn't make enough stops or what have you. We've seen this before. I'm sticking with the pick for my player to watch from the Big Ten, Braylon Allen. It pains me to say it, but I think he's going to be that one guy you look at on the Badgers this year, and you're going to be like, yep, far and away best running back in the country.
I like it. I'm gonna go with my player to watch from the Big 12, Kansas State running back Deuce Vaughn. I talked big about him in the Big 12. Said he was gonna outplay to the Texas running back. So I gotta back it up again. Double down on my prediction. And Kansas State, the best running back in college football in 2022-2023, will play for Kansas State. So I think it's gonna be fun to watch.
Honestly, I wrote down Braylon Allen and then cross it off because I was like, nah, I gotta stick with Robinson and back him up twice because you just have to do it. And so I respect your pick there, Spinny, but you're gonna definitely be wrong because the best running back is clearly DeSean Robinson. So
Capper,
at least to the Big 12. Okay, Fred Blintenkoff Ward. Did I even say that right? Who cares if I said it wrong? Wide receiver. This is usually. Or not usually, but been a lot of Alabama boys winning this award recently. I'm actually flipping it. I'm going Jackson Smith. Makes sense. If I'm so high on CJ Stroud, it's made weapon. Jackson Smith's going to put up crazy numbers again. So I think he'll win the Fred Blintenkoff Award, best receiver in the country.
Yep. Again, I hyped this man up in my Big Ten. Jackson Smith, the Jigba, will be winning the Blintenkoff Award as the best receiver in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you guys hype. You guys love Ohio State, both of you. I can tell. But I mentioned earlier in the episode.
I don't love Ohio State.
I think you do. You picked them to win the Big Ten, obviously.
Come on.
Yeah, no, just jokes. I mentioned earlier Cedric Tillman's my player to watch in the SEC on offense from Tennessee. Super electric last year. I think he's a dark horse. I don't think he actually wins it. I'm going to go with Kayshon Boutte from LSU. He had a season-ending ankle injury last year. He had 9 touchdowns in 6 games. It can only imagine what he was going to do if he didn't get hurt last year. A little bit more interesting and maybe more secure quarterback play this year at LSU. So Kayshon Boutte, I think, definitely takes that team to the next level at LSU. I don't know if they're going to win 10 games this year. I think they probably get 9. But he's going to be a big part of what they do. And I think just looking at Brian Kelly trying to make some fun, electric noise down there in Baton Rouge, definitely. I think that that number 1 wide receiver spot is going to be a big part of them getting it done down there. So that's my Blintenkoff pick, Kayshon Boutte.
I kind of like that sleeper pick. I feel like a lot of people this year are either running with Jackson Smith like Spinny and I did, or Jordan Addison, I feel like, is another popular pick.
Back to back Jordan Addison. 2 different schools. I don't know. That probably has never been done.
That probably has never happened, yeah. Let's jump to John Mackey now, tight end. I'm running with Brock Bowers from Georgia. Those don't know, he's a monster. He's definitely going to be a future first or early second round pick at some point. And last year as a freshman, 882 yards and 13 touchdowns. Just ridiculous numbers. And Georgia's going to be legit again. So he's going to be a touchdown threat all year.
Yep. I had the same pick. I think we're looking at 1,050 to 1,100 yards and like 15 touchdowns. So absolutely will be a crazy season at tight end for him. There's so many tight ends around the nation.
There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. And I think this might be the most open award as far as odds to win. But I think, honestly, Bowers is the safe pick, so that's where I went.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little different here. I'm going to go with Michael Mayer from Notre Dame.
Okay.
Last year, yeah, get a little some repping for Notre Dame in there.
Let's go.
So last year he had 71 receptions as a tight end in college, which I think is absolutely amazing. 7 touchdowns. Nicknamed Baby Gronk. Because if you see him in pads, it looks exactly like Rob Gronkowski, and he has since the first day he stepped on campus as a freshman. So it's definitely a well-fitting nickname. Notre Dame definitely embodies the tight end position. One of the best, I think, if you look through time, Notre Dame probably has some of the best tight ends of all time. Iowa probably has something to say about that, but he's just the next in line for a bunch of great tight ends that have came through the University of Notre Dame. And I think they're going to focus a lot of the offense. They've had some changing of the guard at wide receiver. Kyron Williams has gone at running back, but he's the one mainstay there coming back for his junior year. And I think it's going to be a big one for him.
I was wondering when you're going to shout out Notre Dame, honestly.
Man, they always have good tight ends. They always do. It feels like they get the short end of the stick when it comes to voting for those things, though. So I'm holding out hope, though.
Last award we're going to discuss, the Chuck Badiernik Award, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm running with Will Anderson, monster from Alabama. He'll be a top 5 pick. He's the stud, Spinny. Come on. Top 5 pick. He's going to be, no doubt about it, if not top 10, guaranteed. I will lock that in right now today. He won the Nagurski.
You act like that's a big risk there of you to take, that the number 1 rated defensive player is going to be a top 10 pick.
I said top 5, but
okay, top 5.
Anyway,
I just had to call you out on your ridiculousness there.
Hey, you never know, man. Injuries happen, underperformances. We haven't seen one game yet, and I'm already locking him in the top 5. So, but he won the Nagurski last year, which is the other DPOY award. So I think I'm drawing a blank on who won the Badiernik, but I think since he's the only returner that was really a finalist for these awards last year, if he's able to repeat his performance, which he will, he's gonna win it. I would be shocked if Will Anderson doesn't. Yeah, you're still thinking too. I feel like it's an obvious.
Jordan. It was someone from Georgia. It had to be. Was it Jordan Davis?
Was it Davis? I think it was.
Or was it Davis or Dean?
Oh, Nakobe Dean, probably. Yeah. It was a Georgia.
You guys,
for sure.
Give us your predictions, and I'll look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard not to take Will Anderson. I think if you're going chalk, he is the best defensive player in all of college football. I'm going to go a different route, though. I'm going to go back to the Georgia well. I'm going to say Jalen Carter. Was kind of replacing Jordan Davis in the middle of that defense on the defensive line. Last year, 8.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. His second team all SEC. And then you had Jordan Davis kind of was the real plug in the middle there. And I think this is the year he steps up. So as another guy besides Will Anderson, I'm going to go with Jalen Carter from Georgia. But I think, yes, Will Anderson's going to win. But just to be different, give us
just to spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up there, yeah.
I want spice to this pick too. I think Will Anderson's going to win, as much as I hate to admit it. I think it's kind of a conclusion at this point. But I'm going to go to a place where not many DPOY awards come from in 2022, and that's the Pac-12. And I'm going to pick Noah Sewell. I think he makes a lot of big plays, big splashy stuff on defense that people love seeing in college football. It's what makes it exciting. Those show-stopping plays, and I think if he can back some of those up with consistent stats over the season, he could have an off shot at winning this award.
I like it. I looked it up. It was Jordan Davis who won last year, by the way. So.
First guess.
Let's briefly throw out our college football predictions. I don't know about you guys. I got Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Utah 3 I'm running with, and Georgia 4. That would be my prediction right now. Today, I got Alabama over Ohio State in the championship.
All right. I got Ohio State 1, A&M 2, Georgia 3, and Clemson 4.
No Bama?
That's my plan. No Bama.
Well, they didn't make it to the SEC title game.
Yeah, I picked A&M to win the SEC, so I had to back it up. Otherwise, I'd be backing up on my opinion. So This is where we're going. And I think Ohio State's going to pull it off. I got Ohio State over Georgia in the final.
There you go. Oh, that's great.
Can't believe this. This is going to be a fat L segment at some point.
Is this on Freezing Cold Takes already, or what?
It will be. It's going to be.
Okay.
Well, I just think so. You think Georgia's going to be undefeated, 12-0 in the regular season, then, huh?
Yeah, I do.
It's bold, but yeah, I think they're gonna lose the Bama, the SEC ship, and that'll be it.
I think A&M will have one loss. They'll beat Georgia in the final, and they'll beat Georgia in the final, and they'll both get in.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah, it's definitely out there, but yeah, my 4 similar to pluses.
What? You don't have to be nice, Mike. You don't have to be nice. I got that. That was Minnesotan for wow, your picks are shitty. So you don't have to sugarcoat it for me. Roast me up.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of alluded to it earlier when we were talking about the ACC. I just think this year they cannibalize itself, and that leaves them outside of the college football playoff. Clemson getting out of the ACC with 1 loss, I think, is going to be tough to do. Like we said last episode, no committee has put in a 2-loss team ever, and I think that's where Clemson's going to be at again this year. But yeah, 3 out. I'd see. What'd you have? You had A&M, Ohio State, Georgia, and Clemson. So two like sleeper picks in there. So I mean, amen. Yep. Good for you. Pin that one up on the wall. We'll see how she goes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, give us your picks, Mike.
All right. So similar to Bus, I have Bama 1, OSU 2, Utah 3, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 4.
Woo!
So
I wrote them down as a sleeper.
They are a sleeper. So the tough thing for Notre Dame is that their schedule doesn't set up very nicely. Week 1, you get Ohio State in the shoe, and then you got to go to Vegas to play a neutral site game against BYU, who is another one of those sleeper teams. And then you got Clemson at home and then at USC. So you have 4 tough games in there. And if you start out 0-1, you have no room for error when you don't play in a conference. So I think that Notre Dame plays Ohio State tough week 1, but you can't put them at 3 regardless of how they play against Utah because since they already kind of played each other, there's never been a college football playoff rematch from the regular season in the semifinals. So I think you got to put Ohio State at 2, even if they're better than Bama. Just some committee politics there. Yeah. So Notre Dame gets stuck with Alabama. Ohio State gets Utah. And I think it's going to be Ohio State beating Alabama in the national championship.
And, out of here.
All right. Hey, I'll tell you this. I think Ohio State on offense has more athletes than Alabama does this year. It's one of those rare occasions where the Big Ten team is more talented than the SEC team. And Alabama's defense may be better on paper, but we'll see how Jim Knowles coming over from Oklahoma State with how good their defense was last year. If he can do that for Ohio State this year and get those boys playing right, because Ohio State's defense was not very good last year. But
no,
they're loaded up with 4- and 5-star guys. There's no reason that it can't work. So I'm putting my trust in them. They don't need to get many stops, just 1 or 2 stops. And CJ Stroud and team will take care of the rest.
That's honestly, I didn't expect that out of you after episode 23. You were not, you were not very high on Ohio State, and you weren't so far in this episode either. But you think they're going to win it all, huh?
Yeah, I just think, well, comparing them to the rest of the Big Ten, I think it's a foregone conclusion they're going to win the Big Ten. There's a lot of exciting players, but I think there's more broad topics to talk about in the Big Ten outside of just, knob slobbing on Ohio State. So, yeah, but I think, when you stack them up against the SEC, I'm a big conference guy, rep the Big Ten, and yeah, I think that Ohio State, if there's ever a year for them to get it done, it's this year.
All right, that's fair. And Bryce Young, we trust though. So
no, Bama's not even making the playoff.
It's a gross prediction, Spinny, but
we'll accept
her. Skip Bayless take of the year. Yeah, that was all. That take was completely centered on hate. You're right.
It was.
So that was a Skip Bayless take. Yeah,
it was exactly. I'm admitting it. We admitted it, but I hope it comes true nonetheless.
All right, y'all. Let us know actually down below in the comments what you guys thought. That was it for our college football preview. We ran through 3 conferences first time. Talked about the other 2 in our predictions this week. So let us know what you guys thought about that. And we're definitely looking forward to having CFB Mike on the pod throughout this college football season. Are you boys ready for trivia or what? I'm feeling good. Feeling confident. I can't let Spinny win anymore.
I'm honestly not feeling too confident because I've got all college football themed questions, and so I think I might be in the least knowledge of my own questions. So I don't know.
But you don't answer your own questions.
Yeah, I don't answer my own questions, but I think Mike's going to be good at answering my questions.
That's
not
true.
to jinx him. Not to jinx him.
Well, we'll start with the guests. Mike, go ahead. Give us your easy question.
All right. Easy question. Which college has had the most players drafted all time in the NFL draft?
Alabama, final answer. My roommate's dog keeps breaking into my room. Hi, buddy.
Notre Dame, final answer.
Point for Spinny. Off the bat.
Is it really Notre Dame?
It's close. Oh. It's close. Bama's closing the gap, but it's still Notre Dame right now.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Let's go.
That's a quick 1-0 deficit by me. SMH.
All right, Bus. You're going next, Bus.
Okay. Easy question. If you guys don't get this, I'm slapping you both. Who did the Vikings trade their 12th pick to this year? What NFL team did they trade it to?
Detroit Lions, final answer.
Detroit Lions, final answer.
Correct. To the Lions.
I had to think about that for a second.
Who did it turn into?
Oh, Jameson
Who's
Williams.
taking? Yeah. Alabama. Spinny, you ready, dude? You're still going through these technical difficulties over here.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sketching out. You still can't see me?
Nope, can't see you. But we can hear you.
You can hear me?
So give us your question.
All right, I'll give you more question. Who is the all-time single-season rushing yards leader in college football? Who has the record for the most single-season rushing yards?
Single-season rushing yards.
I'm going to make Bustler go first on this one because I know.
I want to say Barry Sanders, final answer.
Barry Sanders, final answer.
Correct.
Let's go. I got a lead on Bus. Let's go.
I'm in last.
Yeah. L for Bussy.
2-2-1, heading into the mediums.
Back to me?
Yep, back to you.
All right. My medium level question is, what defensive player has the most career interceptions in NFL history?
Most interceptions? I should know this one too, I feel like.
I'm trying to think of Madden. I'm envisioning the Madden rank when I go on to look at my own players because it's always old guys. I think I actually know the answer.
You're saying career or season?
Career.
Oh God, no, maybe I don't know actually.
There is a Viking in the top 3 though. That I do know for sure, but I don't think he's number 1.
I'm gonna go Rod Woodson.
I think it's Night Train Lane. I think it's Dick Lane. Night Train Lane.
Final answers?
Yeah.
Final answer.
Minnesota Viking, Paul Krause with
It is Paul
81
Krause.
interceptions.
Damn it!
And Rod Woodson
I said
is,
it.
yeah, Rod Woodson is 10 behind him with 71. He's like the closest player in the modern era.
So is Rod second?
I think he's third. I think Night Train Lane was
Third?
up too. I just know, like, I'm just thinking like modern era players when I was looking at the list, and I was like, Charles Woodson had like 65, like mid 60s. And it's like that record is never going to be broken. Like, and Rod Woodson played forever, and he got to 71. So
Paul Krause was my thought when I said I knew a Viking was in the top 3. I just number 1.
Wow, I'm stumping him today. I got some toughies, I guess.
I just looked it up. Yeah, Krause has 81. Woodson's third was 71. Dick Lane has 68. He's fourth. Darren Sharper would be like our generation's highest. He's tied for sixth, 63. Charles Woodson had 55.
We don't talk about that, man. That man doesn't get
we don't like
get any mentions on our show.
Except Marshawn Lynch. Darren Sharper, hold my dick. The greatest touchdown celebration of all time.
Facts.
All right, neither of us got that. Wow.
Yeah.
I suppose it's my turn now. Medium question. Which team? God damn it. I feel like Mike's going to get this one. Which team has the most wins in program history? College football, Division I. Wins.
Well, there's only 3 teams that it could be. Spinny, go for it.
I think it's Notre
Spinny,
Dame.
Go first.
I'm going to say Notre Dame again.
I'm going with Michigan.
Ding, ding. The answer is Michigan has the most wins in program history.
The story, I got a little background.
Alabama was 2.
Bama was 2?
Yeah.
So my background on why I knew it wasn't Notre Dame is that Michigan, the University of Michigan, is actually the school that taught Notre Dame how to play football in the early days.
Really?
Back in the late 1800s. And that's kind of how the rivalry started, because Michigan taught them how to play football, and then Notre Dame got better than them. And so that's how they started the beef.
Dang.
Let's go.
Mike's just running us.
I'm on one today.
I think you're going to get mine too, honestly.
I don't know why I made college football questions with CFB Mike in here. Wow. That's an L by me. What's yours, Spinny?
Who holds the single season passing touchdowns record?
Oh, this is oh no.
You're talking about, wait, is this college?
College single season passing touchdowns record.
No,
you got it.
Bus. Go ahead, Bus.
Oh no. I think I know the team. Can't think of his name right now.
I'll give you half a point if you can get the team.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna drive me insane because maybe this is wrong, but I feel like Houston is the team.
Wrong.
Okay. I honestly don't have an answer. I can't.
What?
Let's just throw. Fine, let's just take Peyton Manning.
Wait, what?
I'd rather take an L than throw out a completely inaccurate answer because I know it's not Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning's my final answer. Spain's making me guess.
I can't remember if he broke. Was this record broken recently?
Yes.
Joe Burrow, LSU.
Final.
Final.
It was Joe Burrow, isn't it?
It was not Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow broke the record in 2019, and then the record.
It's Zapp
again.
Or what's that?
It's Bailey Zapp.
Bailey Zappi.
From Western Kentucky.
I was thinking Colt Brennan, right? Because I remember he had the record, and then Burrow
Colt, who's I was thinking.
Burrow did break it. And then Zappy broke it again.
Good question. Good question.
Wow. All right. Hard round. The score 4-4. for Mike, 2 for Spinny, 1 for me. Things are looking pretty bad for me over here.
It's all right. I'm about to get Mike's hard question, so.
Here it is.
Yeah, so am I. I'm ready.
What NFL wide receiver holds the record for most receiving yards in a single game?
Why couldn't you have said catches?
Oh, I know. Everyone knows that one.
I know that one. Yards.
Bus, what are you doing over there?
It's definitely no, I don't know, honestly. My guess would be
You're searching it right now?
Yeah, you Googling it over there?
I see your screen share.
I'll share my screen. You want me to share my screen, boys?
Let me move the browsers around quick. And then
yeah. Now he's moving around right now.
It's all right.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm throwing out.
Man.
Okay, but it probably isn't this guy if it's a hard question, though. Calvin Johnson's my final guess. I feel like he had a 300-yard game there once, or upper 200s.
Anquan Bolden is my final answer.
Very good guesses.
Willie.
The answer is Willie Flipper Anderson.
Willie Anderson still has.
Nice.
What was it?
What year was that?
36 yards, and so Julio was the closest to breaking it. He had one was it 2016, the year they won the 2015 or 2016? He had over 300 yards.
That's
I think
right.
he was the last guy to do it.
Right.
But yeah, did not break the single game record. So after Spinny's hard question for episode 23, that's when I decided to step it up a little bit for my hard question, because I gave you guys a little bit of a meatball last time for my hard question.
Oh, I'm seriously gonna get 1 point.
I have to get this. I have to get this. If I
you have to get mine right here. Yeah.
If I don't get this and Mike gets it, Mike wins.
Yeah.
Because you could only tie him.
If Mike gets this, he wins. Yeah. So here we go. I never knew this, so hopefully you guys don't know this. Which NFL team has played in both the AFC and the NFC championship?
Okay. Have they done it in the current city that they're in, or was this a movement-based situation?
Honestly, don't know. I can look it up quick if you want to keep thinking.
I'm just curious as to, did this team have the same name when they won, both of them?
Team name was the same, yeah.
Okay.
If this team has been in a different place, that I don't know, honestly. Let's see. Yeah. Same name.
Same name,
same city.
Town.
Same city, everything same.
Who was it? It's one of those NFC Central teams that flipped.
It's got to be a really old team, yeah.
I got to guess. I don't know if it's right, but
wow, I can't believe these were the years too. This makes me feel even more dumb.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Throw out an NFL team.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
That was my guess, damn it. Carolina Panthers.
Both are incorrect. The actual answer is the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, AFC Championship, 1983, NFC, 2005, 2013, 2014. They were in the AFC. This is what I'm saying. This is why I feel dumb. I never even knew this. They were in the AFC from 1977 to 2001. And that's when they switched from the AFC West to the NFC West.
Did not know that.
So, fun facts for you. I wouldn't have got that either if you guys asked. So
that means Mike Brown either won or tied this. So Boss, I hope you get this question, but I don't think you're going to. This question is 1 point. I will give you, it is 1 point for 3 different things.
Okay.
Okay. The player, the year, and the team.
Okay. Player, your team.
Single season record for college football interceptions. Single season record for most interceptions in a season.
By a defensive player or quarterback?
By a defensive player. And it is in our lifetime.
Boss goes first.
He played college in our lifetime?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That probably means my guess is wrong. Oof. Can I get the random?
Can I get Charles Woodson if that's what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I was going to throw out. But can I get the random hint of Power 5 team or just random ass team?
I do think they're Power 5. I do believe.
Holy crap, boys! I don't even know if I have an answer to throw out for you. I'm drawing so many blanks here, especially
since it's not Charles Woodson.
Yeah, he said it's not Charles Woodson. That's what I was throwing out. Most interceptions for the history of college football, and this was in our lifetime.
I was in high school when this happened.
Wow. Now I'm really feeling like an idiot. Okay, well, since we get points for school and year, I'll at least throw out those. Let's just go. Let's go 2013, and it was. Who's a team Spinny would say maybe a Power 5 too? Cincinnati in 2013.
You don't got a name?
No.
Don't have a player name? Okay. No. I'm going to go with Tyrann Mathieu, 2011 LSU.
I like it.
You actually are all wrong on all of it. So it's Gerard Holliman in 2014 for Louisville.
Wow. Would have never got that. But hey, I'll take the dub, boys. I was thinking about just like saying whatever Bustler said, so I would guarantee it.
That would have been smart. That would have been smart.
Oh man, I was so bad last week. I'm glad I could redeem myself.
Oh, hey, at least I beat Bus. You know, I'm cranking that lead back.
This is gross. 1 point for me.
Yeah, you suck.
I'm gonna spend all night just reading sports trivia online. all
just
night, dude.
Bus at home Googling random sports trivia.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right there.
Yeah, 4-2-1 win for Mike. Mike, you're the second guest to ever win. Third time it's happened with Forbrook beating us twice. That freaking rat, but yeah. All right, Mike, that's it. That's it for you, my guy. Thanks for coming on. Designated college football expert for this upcoming season.
Looking forward to many more episodes. Thanks, fellas. We'll talk to you soon.
I got one question for you before I leave.
Ooh, let's hear it.
As our week's trivia winner, you are free to take 1 minute to talk about anything that you want. If you would like to take that minute, it is yours.
It is yours.
Ooh,
Winnie for the Winnie for Mike.
All right, so a lot of talk about college football.
Oh, I muted you, not me. God damn it. Keep going.
Oh, a lot of talk about college football realignment, and a lot of people ask if Notre Dame's going to join a conference. I think they are going to join a conference. I think they will be ending up joining the Big Ten. I think that college football is only going to, continue to move towards the conferences, continue to have more and more power. And Notre Dame, just being the large institution that they are, has been able to weather that storm and just raise funds on their own and just have buku bucks come out of their alumni and donors, which is sweet. But you can't be raising billions like your TV deals do in the Big Ten. So I think that'll be something to look forward to in the next few years as the Big Ten gets another heavy hitter with Notre Dame and someone to compete with Ohio State on an annual basis. So really looking forward to that. That's it for now for super exciting things on the Notre Dame front, but
we love it.
I like that.
We love it.
I'll take Notre Dame in the Big Ten. That would be awesome.
Somebody's got to compete, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mike.
Exactly.
All right, thanks,
Thanks, Mike. You're the best.
Peace out.
All right, y'all. That was it for our college football preview. As I said, please actually drop comments below. We want to know what y'all thought about the college football preview, since we've never talked about college football on this podcast yet. So we want to see what you guys think about that. Now we're actually going to start our NFL preview. This will be a multi-part type situation here. We will have part 1 AFC released obviously right now, part 1 NFC next week, and then more towards closer to the beginning of the season, we'll do a part 2 for both AFC and NFC as well. So a lot of stuff to cover in the NFL. Obviously, today we'll just throw out some quick storylines to watch and give you very quick thoughts on the storyline and what you think. So, for example, we'll start in the NFC North. One storyline that obviously is big, and we'll see how it goes or turns out for them, would be the Bengals. How do the Bengals play the season after losing the Super Bowl? Because historically, it's been the losing team usually struggles the following season. Historically, if you look at the records, a lot of teams get worse the next season. So how do you think this, Spinny, how do you think the Bengals will play out their season?
Yeah, I mean, as we'll see as we go, I think the Bengals will do well. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think the Ravens will win that division. So I think they'll make the playoffs. They might win a round. Joe Burrow's always a wild card in the playoffs. You saw how that went last year, but I think they'll take a slight step back.
Okay, that's fair. I a little bit higher on them than you are there, but I am in agreement that I still think they're going to make the playoffs. So not too much of a fall off for them, honestly. But I do have them winning this division as of right now. Do you have another storyline you'd like to bring up?
Yeah,
about the Bengals or about any other AFC North team?
Yes. Sorry if I copy your storylines, but given my technical difficulties, I don't have access to what your storylines are. So, but mine is going to be, how many weeks will it take for Kenny Pickett to be the Steelers starter?
This is good. This is perfect for my second storyline, which is how are the Steelers going to be post-Roethlisberger era? So we'll kind of both talk about both of these here. You said how many games till he's a starter?
Yep.
I'm going 4. I don't think they wait very long. If he shows that he can compete well in training camp and during the preseason, I don't think they wait long at all. I do expect Trubisky would be my pick right now to start the season. I would rather, if I were the Steelers, I'd rather have him be out there than Mason Rudolph, to be honest. So I expect Trubisky to be in there for 4 or 5 games, and then they'll give the reins over to Kenny Pickett, first round pick.
I like it. I have a current bet going on, $20 on Kenny Pickett starting in week 1. So hoping it's a little earlier.
I can see that.
But the things coming out of training camp right now are very in favor of Trubisky. So, but you never know.
How long do you think, if you had to give a specific number? I mean, obviously you had $20 on week 1. But...
I mean, yeah, given all the things you've been reading coming out of Steelers camp, I'd say week. It depends on success. If the Steelers can have a little early season success with Trubisky, I think they'll stick with them. But if I had to put money on it now, I'd rock game 6. I think 4 to 6 is a good realm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now more towards my question, how will they be? I'm expecting a step back here. I don't think, in my eyes, I think they're the worst team, which is tough to say because there's so many talented guys, but I think they will finish last in this division this year. So I think at least this year they'll take a step back. Mike Tomlin's too good of a coach, right? We've seen this every single year with him, that he is always able to at least get to 500 and compete. So amazing coach with Mike Tomlin. If they hit on Kenny Pickett here after a year of him developing and just getting some game reps, as we know, that's just huge with young quarterbacks, just getting that game reps and just that extra knowledge. So I think going forward, it could still be fine post Roethlisberger era, but I do expect step back for at least one season.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely think it's a step back. I also don't think that Kenny Pickett will ever in his career be as good as Ben Roethlisberger. So
I agree. With that.
I think, I mean, we're talking about an unbelievable Hall of Fame, undeniable talent, best. I mean, you can talk
top
about Terry
15,
Bradshaw,
right? He's got to be a lock for top 15.
Yeah, top 20, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can talk about Terry Bradshaw all you want. Big Ben's the best quarterback in Steelers history. So it's hard to. I think it's hard to jump from that to success. I mean, you've seen how it's went with a lot of teams. You know, apparently the Packers and Colts are the only teams that can have stud quarterbacks back to back. Apparently, but even for the Colts, it didn't work out when Luck retired early. But all I'm saying is, when you go from a Hall of Famer to the next quarterback, it's a big drop off 95% of the time. So I think we're going to see that from the quarterback play of the Steelers.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's all I got for the AFC North.
I do have one more AFC North question.
Okay.
And that is related to the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Do you think the Ravens are legitimate Super Bowl contenders this season?
I think they are, but I do think they need another weapon. So I would like at some point during the season to make them even a better contender for the championship. I would say add another receiver via trade. Again, I don't know who will be available, so I'm sure that'll be a deadline type situation. But I would like to see them get another weapon out there. But yeah, I don't see why not. Lamar Jackson is able to replicate anything similar to his MVP season. They'll be absolutely unreal because their defense is loaded. So they always have the running game. Harbaugh is a good coach. Yeah, they have everything in their favor. So I don't see why not.
I agree. I think they win the division. I think they are as well. But I think there's a lot of sleep going on right now and a lot of hate on the Ravens for no reason.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean that 1D coordinator just ripped Lamar or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when a guy says, "I don't care if he wins 12 MVPs," he'll never convince me that he's a top tier quarterback. When the guy says that himself, it's like, wow, I think that speaks for itself.
Right. Very quick, what are your power rankings for this division, the AFC North?
Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, 1 through 4.
Okay.
Ravens, Bengals, Steelers.
I'm going Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. Especially now with the news that DeSean will only be suspended 6 games, I definitely think that the Browns should be able to finish ahead of the Steelers record-wise. So I like them a little bit more than the Steelers. But that would be my power rankings as of today. Now let's head into the South. Go ahead.
Let's do it. I was just going to say, I think DeSean's early absence will be too much. The Browns will be 1-5 by then, and it will be too much to come back from. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Jacoby Brissett's able to do.
True.
In the South, I don't know. There's two really. This is a division that's carried by 2 teams, obviously. Right now, at least, it's Titans and the Colts, and the Jags and the Texans are terrible. So one of my storylines, I'll run with a bad team here with the Jags. So Travis Etienne didn't play at all last year, is now finally going to play. For those that don't know, he played with Trevor Lawrence in college, so they already got very good chemistry. A new system, new coach, all of this coming together for the Jags. How is this going to work in their new system? Like, what are your expectations here for this first year with these new weapons and new coach?
So we're gonna talk about this on both sides as well, because I had a Trevor Lawrence related question that I'm gonna play into this, and that was how high do you think Trevor Lawrence? How good do you think Trevor Lawrence could be at the prime of his career? Top what quarterback in the NFL? So you think about that, and I'll answer your question. I think the Jags legitimately can go 6-11 or 7-10, somewhere in there. I think Trevor Lawrence takes a huge step up. To answer my own question, I think we're looking at a top 5 quarterback potential with Lawrence. I honestly do believe that, and I think he showed enough last year, despite the unbelievable dysfunction with Urban Meyer. So yeah, I don't think the Jags are legit contenders this year. They overpaid for their receiving core. Giving Christian Kirk $72 million is absolutely ridiculous, and they've overpaid on a lot overall. But sometimes you got to do that when you're trying to go from really bad to really good, and they still have a ton of cap room and young guys. So I believe that the Jaguars have no chance of winning more than 7 games this year. But I do think that in 2 to 3 years, if Lawrence and Etienne's development is what we think it could be, that they could be legitimate contenders.
Yeah, I agree with those thoughts. I'm expecting. I'm not even giving them 7. I'm saying like 5. I'd be shocked if they win more than 5-6 games. But again, the offensive efficiency, I'm definitely expecting a step forward this year. Hopefully their line's better for Lawrence, because I know that man had no time whatsoever. So a lot of his throws were under a ridiculous amount of pressure. And as a rookie playing in your first ever games, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, aka interceptions. So his stat line makes sense for the situation he was in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this new coach. I think he'll be better than bum-ass Urban Meyer. And hopefully Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence can reconnect like they did at Clemson. To answer your question, I would say he does. I think I'm agreeing with you. I think he has that top 5 potential. Now, if I'm going to strictly answer your question and say what number he can get to, I don't know if he'll crack the top 5, to be honest. I don't know if he will. So thinking about young quarterbacks out there, we got Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, and I really am suspect to think about him being better than any of those 4. And then you also got Lamar, you still got Kyler, you got those type of guys. So there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league. I don't know if he's ever going to be truly better than those guys, but yeah, all it takes is development and weapons, which we know that Jags don't really have weapons. So get that man more reps, more weapons. He definitely could jump into that top 5.
I like it. All right, so we both went 1-1. What do you got for your second storyline today?
Mine will just be about the Colts. What are our expectations on the Colts with Matt Ryan now taking over as quarterback? Because to me, it's higher. I definitely have higher expectations on the Colts. I'm not sure if I'm picking them to win it all, but like they got to make the playoffs this year with Matt Ryan instead of Carson Wentz. I still think Ryan's got some juice in him, and they have definitely plenty of weapons, and they're solid on the defensive end as well. So that would be my answer to my own question: is if they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to be very disappointed with the Colts.
So I would agree, but in order for this to be true, Carson Wentz really would have had to have been as bad of a leader and as bad of a teammate as people say. The reason I say that is I don't envision Matt Ryan having better than 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I really don't at this point in his career think he's going to do much better than that. And that's what Carson Wentz threw for last year. And that was with Taylor absolutely going off and their defense being good. So, yes, intangibles-wise, I hope Ryan can be better late in games than Wentz was and maybe squeak another win or 2 out given that situation. And I hope that Ryan's leadership and ability to bring the team together, which every person around Wentz has said is bad, and everyone around Ryan has said is really amazing. If those two things can make a difference for the team, then I do believe they'll make the playoffs. But I don't think straight up stat for stat, Ryan is that much better of a quarterback than Wentz right now.
That's fair. I'm not in complete disagreement, but yeah, the intangibles just really stand out to me with Ryan. So I'd be disappointed if they weren't able to take a step forward after switching and correcting those issues that we all heard about. Again, obviously, we don't know, and we'll see, like you said, if he is that bad of a leader and teammate. But yeah, we'll see. That's all I got. You got another one, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
How much of a chance do you give the Titans to? I got a two-part question. How much chance do you give the Titans to win the division, and how many more seasons of prime Derrick Henry will we get?
Derrick Henry prime, I think 3. I want to say
3,
including this year.
So 2 more years after this one.
2 more years after this one, he'll be 31 or 32 at that point. I definitely expect him to be falling off by then. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. And this is all based on him staying healthy, obviously, because last year he was a god, but then got hurt. So if he stay healthy, I think he can have 3 more years of 1,500 yards. I don't see why not. He's a freaking tank. He is a tank.
You want my bold take? Before you answer my second
Your
part?
Your bold take is that this is the last good year, huh? Or is it
This
going
is
to
the
be
last season Derrick Henry will ever rush for 1,200 yards or more.
We'll see. I could see it. We know how running backs fall off once they get to that 30-year-old age. So, yeah, it's literally like a snap of the finger. You hit 30, done. Terrible. So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, Titans in the division, chance percentage.
Right now, I'm giving them over little over 50. I have to, because I don't think the Texans and Jags have a single remote chance to win the division.
So they have 0 chance. Let's just say that, right? For all intents and purposes, Jags, Texans, 0 chance.
I have the Titans still as the winner right now. They're number 1 on my power rankings.
As the favorite. Really?
I do. Yes.
Woo! I think that's kind of hot,
I like it,
sir.
I know. A lot of people aren't really going to be with me, but they didn't have a lot of turnover on the defensive end. They still got a lot of their guys in that regard. And honestly, if you look at the offensive end, the only thing they really lost is A.J. Brown, and they don't seem to really care about that. So we'll see what Treylon. Obviously, is going to depend on Treylon Burks and what he's able to do as a rookie, and obviously Derrick Henry. But I'm putting my faith in Derrick Henry being a workhorse and able to stay healthy. And if he's anything like we saw last year pre-injury or 2 years ago, they'll win 10 games.
Yeah, I think Tannehill might take a step off. And obviously, the one thing, I think Tennessee's about 30%. I'd go 70 Colts, 30 Tennessee.
Really? You think it's...
Yeah.
Damn. I was going to say 55-45 would be mine.
The only reason it's not even more, honestly, for me, is Mike Vrabel. I feel like he is an unbelievably amazing coach. His players really buy into him and believe in him. And so I think that inspiration and just the intent, they're always on stuff. He's always doing well with like the small parts, especially on the defensive end. And they have that tough, I'm going to go out there and kick your ass mentality. And I think that, and they're smash mouth. And so you can always generate 10 wins out of that type of style. So you could be right, but I really think the Colts, that Ryan intangibles and leadership will make enough of a difference for Indy.
All right, that's fair. That's enough for the South, though. Let's jump to the AFC East. Let's just start with I'm going to start with one of the worst teams, and that's just going to be, what are your expectations about Zach Wilson, year 2? I mean, he's got more weapons now. Drafted Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So, I mean, again, I'm not expecting – it's similar expectations for me with Lawrence, I feel like. I'm not expecting anything crazy out of Zach Wilson, but I need to see some improvement, especially in the efficiency in regards to not throwing as many turnovers and things along those lines. But I guess I want to say wins-wise, maybe again, same as the Jags, nothing more than 5, 6
Yeah,
wins. They're getting there. They're close.
I think the Jets could win 6-7 games. The big thing for me that I need to see with Wilson is that step up. It's still going to be ugly. He's still going to throw a lot of interceptions. His completion percentage is still not going to be that good. But, and I know this guy that I'm about to name is the reason we're going to give quarterbacks with these crazy strong arms and gunslinger-ish more time is Josh Allen. But we saw Josh Allen's rookie year, and he looked like he was never going to play in the NFL. But except for those moments that he had. Now, Zach Wilson hasn't had quite as many of those moments, and maybe he doesn't have the top-end quarterback ability that Allen has. I see Wilson more as a tier 2 quarterback type of ceiling. But I think that if we don't see that from him this year, it's going to be really suspect. But yeah, I have some belief in Zach Wilson, actually, and I think that he could show out.
Yeah, that's essentially all I was getting at. If he doesn't take that step forward, they're going to start looking for a new answer. Because this is something the Jets have had to deal with for so long, and they're honestly at this point getting very impatient at the QB. So they got more weapons. They fix the line a little bit. They improve the defense. Like, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. So it's now on Zach to improve his own play as well. So we'll see how the Jets end up being this year. But I still got them finishing last in the division, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, me too, I think.
What's one of your questions or storylines to follow?
As one of my favorite TV personalities, I'm going to steal his nickname for this player for this. As Kevin Wildes would call him, the baby goat. How many touchdowns will Mac Jones have this season?
The baby goat. That's so funny that they call him that. All right, well, let me do a quick stat check. Or do you have it written down?
I do not.
Okay. I just need to speed last year. 22 and 13 he had. Okay. I'm going 27. That's my prediction. 27, and I think he'll stay around 13. Maybe drop a little bit. 11. I'm going to say 27 and 11.
All right, I like that.
I expect a little. I expect more passing this year than last year, at least.
Yeah, I think we could see something like 30 and 10 somewhere in there. But Mac Jones, another one. I want to see his step up, so I can at least think that he might have some top end potential eventually. Because otherwise, if I don't see a huge step up, you're looking at a 15th to 18th best quarterback in the league for his whole career.
Right, exactly.
I want to see some flashes from McCorkle.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of this isn't even one of my storylines, but I do want to ask the same question about Zach Wilson. So he only had 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 13 games last year. I expect that to be maybe more towards the Mac Jones stat line of this past year and being 20 and 10, 20 and 13.
I'm actually going to go 25 and 15 from Zach Wilson this year. I think he'll play more games, so his interceptions will go up. He'll obviously take some risks, but I need to see some touchdowns, some cool throws and such from him. So we're going to go 25 and 15 for Zach Wilson.
I like it. My next one would be, is this the year Josh Allen wins MVP?
Yes.
You think so? Right now, today, he's your preseason pick.
I don't know about that, but I think given the storylines and how the MVP works, he kind of has the best odds really at it.
Right.
Rodgers isn't winning another one. I don't think Brady's stats are going to be what they've been before. Mahomes has already won one. But I think Allen, Mahomes, and Herbert, one of those three. That Mahomes has the storyline of Tyreek Hill leaving, so if he balls out, after that, he'll obviously get some votes given him how he carried them offensively. Herbert, obviously, if he keeps doing what he's doing and they make the playoffs and at least this team wins, he could have that. And Allen, who I think this is going to be the year he really comes into his own and shows us he's a top 3 quarterback. So yeah. I think it's down to those 3 guys.
I agree. I think he is top 3. Yeah, I expect him to finish top 3 and voting for MVP, if not win it this year. I definitely, like you said, this is the year for him to truly step into it and really explode. Do you have another storyline to follow? Otherwise, we'll fire off our power rankings.
Can Tua Tagovailoa
need a Dolphins question? I like it.
Can Tua Tagovailoa? Okay. Can the Dolphins be playoff contenders with Tua Tagovailoa as their quarterback?
Yes. I think playoff contender, that's all you left it as. I don't see why not. They have a lot of weapons around him. They have a solid defense. They've actually always had a pretty solid defense. Their defense is never like really bad like some of the other really bad teams in the NFL. But I would say yes. Obviously, he needs to improve, and we need to see more out of him. But the short answer is yes.
Yeah, I answer yes to that question as well. But I think this is the prove it year. If they don't, if they don't win 10 games this year, Tua's not your guy. I don't care if, and I'm not guaranteeing he is your guy if you do win 10 games. I think you can win 10 games and he still isn't your guy, given how he actually looks and how you're watching the games. But I think guaranteed if you don't win 10 games, you know he's not your guy, given the roster they've got.
That's a good way to put it. I'm in complete agreement there. So power rankings wise, I'm going Bills 1. I think that's pretty clear still. Dolphins 2, Pats 3, Jets 4. That's what I would put it as right now today.
You know, that's what I had written down, but
you gonna switch the Pats too, or what?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep the Pats at 3.
No, I'm not.
Bills, Dolphins, Pats, Jets. I really don't know if I like Belichick complimenting Mac Jones so much. I mean, part of me likes it because like he doesn't give compliments, but part of me is like, is he overcompensating for something? Because like he never complimented Brady, never had to. So like, is he changing and understanding he has to be different, or is he overcompensating for he knows that there's not enough talent there? I don't know. Interesting thought, but that's I think the order of the East.
Final division in the AFC, and probably I'm thinking the NFC. It is. This is the best division in football this year. Just ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Best division in the AFC, definitely.
We have Derek Carr, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson in the same division. Like, this is a stupid stacked division. All 4 teams are a threat to make the playoffs this year. I would say I'm still, at this moment, still only giving Super Bowl contender to the Chiefs just because that's Pat Mahomes. I'm always high on Pat Mahomes. So, but yeah, there's four teams that could make some noise in the playoffs, that's for sure, which is crazy to think about. So my first one will be, since I just talked about Mahomes, how is Mahomes going to do without Tyreek?
Fine. It might not be as explosive, but if I mean, who's the receiver they drafted?
Sky Moore.
He's got a chance to do some cool things. Mahomes is more than willing to bomb it up there to guys, unlike Rodgers, who I worry about with rookie receiver because he's not as trusting. Mahomes doesn't give a crap. He's humming it to you no matter what. Right. And I have faith in Andy Reid. That's the other thing with the Chiefs is I have faith in Andy Reid to dial Mahomes back when he needs it. Mahomes gets out of himself and out of his mechanics sometimes and goes a little too crazy. But with the game plan that Reid brings and Bieniemy still there as well, I think that they do a great job putting him in great situations, and he's the best quarterback in the league. So they're going to be good. That is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the additional thought I have for that would be they still got guys with burners everywhere. Like, sure, it's not Tyreek Hill, but you got Sky Moore. He's drafted Sky Moore. He's got burners. You still have McCole Hardman. He's fast as hell. You signed MBS to a cheap deal. He's fast as hell. Like, you still have tons of guys that you can just have them sprint down the field, and then Mahomes, like you said, he's chucking it to him anyway. So I don't really, and at least they have Kelsey. I think it would have been more of an issue to lose Kelsey, that middle across the field middle threat, where Mahomes absolutely feeds Kelsey like no other. So
yeah, they have one of the most dangerous targets in the NFL.
Exactly.
Bar none. So obviously Kelsey changes that aspect.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think the Chargers will finally make the playoffs?
I just laugh because this is a team that these last couple of years, wow, the amount of one-score losses they have is ridiculous. When are they going to learn how to win these close games? It's like us Vikings last year, but this is something they do every year.
Yeah, try our entire lifetime.
Yeah,
like the Chargers lose one-score games our entire life more than anybody I've ever seen. Even ridiculous. With Breeze and then Rivers and then Herbert, it's just like we're just having great quarterbacks and losing close games.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact, Herbert's rookie year, all of their losses, every single one of them was by one score. Like, you can't even make that up. That's just crazy as hell. Bold prediction, I guess, right now I'm saying yes. I mean, it's such a loaded division, right? So it's going to be tough for them to make it. But as of right now, I think they're getting in. I really do.
I'm going to say no.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna no.
Not another year. Oh, no.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say no. It's really hard, though, because I do like the Raiders a lot. And obviously, I don't think that all four of those teams are going to make the playoffs. But it's hard for me to imagine with the J.C. Jackson edition, the Khalil Mack edition, and the crazy and Derwin James coming back, Joey Bosa being healthy. Like, their defense is going to be insanely improved from last year. So it's hard for me with that, plus Herbert, to have them not making the playoffs.
Let's talk a little bit more about their defense, because that's exactly my next storyline is with these additions, like you just said, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, healthy Derwin James back. You already have Joey Bosa. What's their ceiling? How good can this defense be? Top 3, top 5? Like, what do you think?
I don't know about yards and touchdowns if they'll be good, but I think they have a chance to be top 5 in sacks and turnovers. And I think that's more of the type of defense you're looking at, an aggressive defense that gets after it and makes plays. That's how J.C. Jackson plays. That's how Derwin James plays. And obviously the pass rush has that impact as well. So I think that's what we'll see. Maybe they'll be, the 15th best defense yards and touchdowns wise, but top 5 in interceptions and sacks, which is something that you need to win games as well.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, I think they have top tier potential, but more than likely more be turnover and big play based.
Yeah. I think they'll settle in, based on everything you just said, in that 5 to 10 range, because I expect them to still give up yards and give up points fairly often. But yeah, the sack and turnover potential is there, and that's exactly what you need in today's NFL. You need to get to the quarterback, and you need to create turnovers. So that's 2 things that they're checking the box on. So we'll see how good that this defense actually can be.
Did I ask this? Whose question is this? Man, I'm losing it tonight.
That was my second one. So that was my last question I had for the AFC West.
My second one is how I have 2. We got to talk about all the teams in this division. They're too good not to.
Yeah, that's fair.
What do you think the Raiders' ceiling is? First question.
Raiders' ceiling, I would say second round of the playoffs. I really don't envision them making it to the AFC Championship, but I can see them making the playoffs and winning their first game and at least making it to second round. I can see that. So I would say that's their ceiling.
Okay, now talking about Denver, do you think Denver has the best chance other than the Chiefs to win the division?
it's so tough. There's so little that separates these four teams. I don't know. So like I'll throw out my power rankings right now. I have Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders as of right now. But I do almost want to say that percentage-wise, the Broncos might have a better percentage to make the playoffs than the Chargers, just given their defense is always good, and they got weapons everywhere, running backs, receivers, and then they added Russell Wilson, who's a Super Bowl champ. So I'm going to give the credit to the team that has a Super Bowl champion quarterback a little more than obviously very good quarterback Herbert, but a guy that hasn't even made the playoffs yet. So
I haven't looked at the AFC West schedule completely like we will for our second topic when we'll go game by game, winner by winner. But I go Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Man, I really want to put the Raiders up higher, and I think they have a huge potential because I'm standing for Derek Carr this year. I can't wait for Derek Carr to prove all the haters wrong this year. It's gonna be freaking awesome, honestly, because you boys be sleeping on a guy that has got sacked more times. His offensive line has been rated in the bottom 10 of the NFL every single year of his career, and in the bottom 5 every single year but one for pass protection. So he's got some weapons now. He's got Adams. The line will be slightly better. Adams, Renfrow, Waller. I just can't wait for Derek Carr to ball.
You better ball. Otherwise, I'm roasting the shit out of this man. That's all I got to say.
Haters. Carr hater.
That's all I got to say.
Carr hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm a hater.
You are a hater.
No, I'm a hater on Carr lovers, a.k.a. you, who think he's like some freaking God-sent angel that's here to save the Raiders. Derek Carr's really good, and yeah, this will be the year that I think he'll shut up some haters for sure.
All right. Well, that was that.
I think that was it.
AFC has been previewed.
Part one.
We'll get a little more in depth with records, win-loss, exact standings as we get on to part 2. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us. Let us know what you think. We'll post some graphics about this. Probably not until our part 2, and then we can give you those records on our exact graphics there. But yeah, so thank you all for sticking with us. We love you.
I would say we need to do Q&A. Spin, come on,
I was just about to introduce Q&A.
Okay, well, you were saying we love you, and that's usually something we say right when we're done. So I was like, is he really cutting this episode off?
I was just gonna say we love you, and now it's time for Q&A. Jeez.
One quick thing I do want to say, if you have any suggestions for improvement or anything for this NFL preview, let us know, because we're gonna follow the same style for the NFC. So we're gonna talk storylines and power rankings again next week. So if you want some, or even if you have a storyline, if you have a question you want us to ask about each of the divisions, let us know, and we'll dive into it.
Comment on YouTube, tweet at us, DM us. You know how to get a hold of us.
Yes. All right. Q&A from our boy, Connor Forbrook, once again. This is an interesting one, Spinny. Very interesting one. I don't know if you really put much thought into it yet, but I was trying to think about answers throughout this episode. Dream. So for a big football game or whatever, what is your dream lineup here for the performances? National anthem, halftime performer, and post-game concert. What would be your dream lineup there?
Ooh. So I'm going to say national anthem. I have to get this person in, and I didn't know how else to include her. So I'm going to say national anthem Beyonce.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. That's my pick too.
Let's go. She had to be in there. She's the queen.
Yes.
So
her voice would be perfect for the anthem.
Oh my gosh. And then halftime show. Halftime show, I just want all the rappers. Like what came to mind was Travis and Wiz. Travis and Wiz would be my halftime show.
Okay.
And then
post-game concert? What is that
post-game
about that?
concert. You know, I just gotta headline it again, and we're gonna change the genre again, and we're gonna rock, and one of my favorite rock bands, and I think one of the biggest rock bands of all time. So we're gonna go Metallica post-game concert.
Okay, I like it. For me, I'm gonna do my halftime performance a little different. I would, for me personally, obviously would like the rap artists, like Travis Scott's and stuff out there. But if I'm just thinking general halftime shows and some of the best ones that there've ever been, I want some more of the big name guys, and I want like a collab like they've been doing the last couple of years. The last couple of years, it's never just one person anymore; it's multiple. So I would say, R.I.P. to these two, but I would say Michael Jackson, Prince, U2, and then maybe Coldplay. Those four together in like some sort of collab halftime show would just be electric. Everyone would go nuts.
Could you pick two worst rock bands? Oh my goodness. Coldplay and U2? Coldplay's first Super Bowl halftime show was atrocious. Atrocious. And U2 is probably the most overrated rock band of all time. So
these are terrible.
The first two.
Terrible musical opinions coming out from Spinny.
Oh my gosh.
You just said Coldplay's not good. That's a terrible opinion to have.
Coldplay as a performance? Their halftime performance at the Super Bowl was crappy.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, if you don't believe me, go look up some national opinions here and just type in best halftime performance of all time and just check out all these different articles. Almost all of them have U2 in the top 3. Almost all of them have Coldplay in the top 3. Michael Jackson and Prince are obviously in there every time, but
all right.
Come on.
Who's the after concert?
Or Timberlake. If you want me to change up a little bit, I'll throw Timberlake in there because he's been good at the halftime.
I thought about throwing Maroon 5 in too, honestly.
So maybe vibe wise, I just throw out U2 and Coldplay and do MJ, Prince, and JT. I feel like that's a good vibe there. I feel like that's probably better. Post game though, that's where I want my rap guys because I feel like that's when everyone's tired. It's the end of the night. We need something to energize us, finish up the night good. That's why I'm throwing in, any rap guy who's ever hot at the moment. Travis, Kendrick, Drake, anybody. Throw them out there. Maybe get a couple guys just like the halftime show. And that'd be an amazing way to finish up the night. But yeah, I want to hear Beyonce's Angel voice first to start the game. Some of those legends, Prince, MJ, guys like that for halftime, and then to finish it off, some rap legends would be how I would do it.
I would love to actually.
That's a good question.
I would like my post-game concert too, just to give a shout out to a couple of these guys to be maybe some country guys. One of the best shows I ever saw in person was Dierks Bentley. So maybe a little Dierks Bentley, Jake Owen combo, throwing Kenny Chesney. We get a little bit of beach vibes after when everybody's sleeping and getting this cranked up on the beach. So I think that could be a good situation as well, even though liking country music is my toxic trait. So.
It's my toxic trait.
Liking country music and being late. Those are my toxic traits.
Being late, yeah. This kid. All right, so we appreciate you guys sticking with us 2 whole hours again. You guys are the best.
2 hours. Well, we left you off a week, so we had to pack all this flipping content into here. It's the GOAT. A little bit of our Mamba episode.
Yes.
For y'all. So that's good.
Mamba mentality. R. Keep that up. Yeah, and one more time, R.I.P. Bill Russell, because that dude is a beast.
Fact. R.I.P. Bill Russell, and hug your friends and family, and we love you. Good night, Hearties and Hard-Nose.
And we'll see y'all next week.